Dear students, welcome you all. I am Suganti Ramesh. I am going to be a social teacher for this year, and today in this video we are going to learn a lesson from history. In history, totally we are having 4 lessons. The first lesson is sources of medieval India. The second lesson is emergence of new kingdoms in North India. And the third lesson is emergence of new kingdoms in South India, later Cholas and Pandyas. And the fourth lesson is the Delhi Sultanate. Before we start our lesson, we should recall few points about history. Okay, first of all, what is history? Yes, very good. I know you all know the definition because this same definition you already learnt in your 6th standard, right? Good. Even you already learnt, I am going to recall it once again. Okay, so history is the study of recorded events of past in chronological order. What is chronological order? If the events are arranged in order by the time it's happened, then it's known as chronological order. So history is the study of recorded events of past in chronological order. The next point is the term history has been derived from the Greek word historia, which means learning by enquiry. So history is all about learning by enquiry, right? History has been classified into prehistory and history. Prehistory is the period of time before written records. That means we are not having any evidence about this prehistory. And history is the recorded documents of events, that too in chronological order. Initially, Indian history has been classified into the Hindu age, the Muslim age and the British age based on the rulers, based on the religion of the rulers who ruled the country in that particular time. Okay, later on the necessity of including social and economical conditions, historians changed the names. How they changed? The Hindu age they changed as Asian period, and the Muslim age they changed as medieval period, and the British age changed as modern period. So what and all the 3 periods of Indian history, or what and all the classification of Indian history? The Asian period, the medieval period and the modern period. You already learnt about this Asian period in your 6th standard, and you are going to learn about this modern period in your 8th standard, and this year we are going to learn about this medieval period. This medieval period also classified into 2. One is early medieval period, that is common era 700 to 1200, and later medieval period, which is from common era 1200 to 1700. Good. Now we are going to start our lesson, that is sources of medieval India. That means what and all sources we are having to know about medieval period of India. That is the meaning of this lesson. Okay, these sources has been classified into 2. One is primary sources and another one is secondary sources. What is primary sources? The sources which give the first-hand information is known as the primary sources, and the secondary sources are the writings of some travelers who visited our country. Okay, so in primary sources we are having 3 important points. One is inscriptions, and second one is monuments, and third one is coins. And in secondary sources we are having religious and secular literature, books, biographics and autobiographics, and travelers and travelogues. Okay, in this video we are going to learn about only this primary sources, that too inscriptions and monuments alone. Remaining coins and secondary sources we are going to learn in second video. Okay, fine. First point, inscriptions. What is inscription? In Tamil, how we can say it? Very good. கல்வெட்டுக்கள். கல்வெட்டுக்கள் சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அதுதான் inscription அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. Do you remember what is the study of inscription is called? Epigraphy. Very good. You all remember what you learnt in your 6th standard. Super. Okay. First, I am going to give definition for inscription now. Okay. Inscriptions are writings engraved on the solid surfaces such as rocks, stones, temple walls and metals. So, inscriptions are writings engraved on the solid surfaces. Why they are engraved on solid surfaces? If you are writing on the paper means it will easily get damaged. But if you are writing on the solid surfaces means it cannot be easily damaged by the time. Okay, for that reason only they engraved everything on the solid surfaces. Okay, so what is inscriptions? Inscriptions or writings engraved on the solid surfaces such as rocks, stones, temple walls and metals. Good. The next point is inscriptions contain rich information about king's royal decrees, dedications, donations, monuments, rites in commemoration of victories in wars and the memory of deceased warriors. That means these inscriptions gives the first-hand information about the royal degrees. What is royal degrees means? The official orders passed by the king. Okay, அரசாணை சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா, அரசாணை தமிழில் அதுதான் வந்து ராயல் டிக்ரீஸ். டெடிகேஷன், how the king served for the people. And donation, what and all the gifts offered to the people by the king. And monuments raised, if the king got victory in that war means what he will do, he will construct a monument in the remembrance of the victory and also the soldiers who lost their lives in that war. Okay, fine. Next, these inscriptions gives information about the lands gifted by Chola kings. These Chola kings gifted so many lands to the people by various names. Okay, that names now we are going to see. First one is Velan Vagai. Velan Vagai is the land of non-Brahmin proprietors. That means Velan Vagai is the land gifted to the non-Brahmin proprietors in the society. Non-Brahmin proprietors means the people who did agriculture in that period. Okay, good. Next one is Brahmadeya. Brahmadeya is the land gifted to Brahmins. You know the people who is doing temple related works, know that they are called as a Brahmins, isn't it? So Brahmadeya is the land gifted to Brahmins. And Shalaboga. Shalaboga is the land for the maintenance of school. Okay, Devadana. Devadana is the land gifted to the temples. And Pallichandam. Pallichandam is the land donated to the Jaina institution. See students, these 5 points are really very important. You may get 1 mark questions from these names. Okay, so learn it well. Okay, the names are Velan Vagai, Brahmadeya, Shalaboga, Devadana and Pallichandam. Very good. The next point is several copper plates issued to the eminent people in the society to record the events. In that, both the giver and receiver were very elaborately described. The high cost of copper made palm leaf and paper cheaper alternatives for recording royal orders and events in royal court. Look at the picture students. This is called the copper plate. Like these copper plates are issued to the eminence people. Eminence people means those who are educated in the society. Okay, issued to that eminence people to record the events happening in the society. In that copper plate, both the giver and the receiver were elaborately described. That means the king who gave this copper plate and the person, eminent person who written this copper plate, everything are detailedly described in this plates. And by the days pass on, the high cost of this copper plate made palm leaf and paper to alternative for this. Okay, after that only they started recording that royal orders and events, that is whatever happening in that king's court they should record and know that things are recorded in the palm leaf and paper. What is palm leaf? Yes, ஓலை சுவடின்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா தமிழ்ல, that is palm leaf, and paper, we all know what is paper, isn't it? Okay, good. The next point is, in stone inscriptions, major focus is upon the giver. Listen children, look at the picture. This is called the stone inscriptions. That is the inscriptions written on the stones. Okay, these two are Tiruvalangadu plates and Anbil plates. These plates are giving more information about the king who has to write these inscriptions. Okay, but when compared to the copper plates, both are given more importance. But in this stone inscription, major focus is upon the giver only. Next, Uttaramerur inscriptions in Kanjipuram provide details about village administration. Look at the wall, children. It looks like simply a wall, but if you take a keen look on these walls, everything is inscriptions. They are inscribed so many details about the village administration. From this, we can get so many information about the village administration. And so far, we learnt about inscription. Now we are going to see about monuments. Monuments in the forms of temples, mosques, palaces, tombs, minars and minarets. Now tell me, what is temples called in Tamil? Kovilgal. Very good. Mosques? Masudigal. Very good. Palaces? Aranmanegal. Very good. Tombs? Kallaregal. Very good. Minars and minarets? Stubigal. Very good. I will explain this in the upcoming slide. Now I am here explained about tombs. A tombs is a monument to the memory of a dead person erected over the burial place. So if the eminent person died means what they will do? They will construct a monument on the burial place. That is called tombs. Okay. Next, the inscriptions in these monuments also gives rich information which can be used to reconstruct the history. And we are going to see some example for temples. Look at the picture, children. This is Khajuraho monuments which is there in Madhya Pradesh. And this is temple in Konark. You know what is the other name for this Konark? Yes, you are very good. This is a Sun Temple. Sun Temple, it is there in Odisha. And this is Dilwara which is there in Mount Abu, Rajasthan. And this is our famous Tanjore temple which is there in Tamil Nadu. Next one is Gangaikonda Cholapuram which is there in Ariyalur district. In this both the temples, Bragadishwarar is the main god. Okay, next one is Tarashuram. So these are few example for temples. And mosque. This is Quaid ul Islam Masjid, and this is Modki Masjid, and this is Jama Masjid, and this is Fetchpur Sikri Dargah. These four masjid dargahs are there in and around of Delhi, and these mosques also gives a rich information about the Islam rulers in that particular period. And this is Charminar Mosque which is there in Hyderabad. Next we are going to see about forts. This is Agra forts. This is famous Chittoor forts, belongs to Rajput dynasty. This is Gwalior fort. And this is Delhi Red Fort. We all know about Delhi Red Fort, isn't it? Where is it? It's Delhi only. What is the importance of this Delhi Red Fort? Nowadays also our Indian Prime Minister hoists flag on Independence Day at this Red Fort only. Next, forts of Daulatabad which is there in Aurangabad, and the next one is Firoz Shah Kotla which is there in Delhi. These forts are example of excellent architecture of medieval period. And these are the palaces of Rajput dynasty. One is Jaipur, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, and this is Qutub Minar. I already told you I will explain about minar in later, isn't it? Now this minar or minaret is the type of tower typically built into or adjacent to mosque. So always these minars are near to mosque. Why they construct tower like this? To call the people for prayer, they built a tower like minars like this. Okay. Next, Alai Darwaza. It is the southern gateway of Quwatul Islam Mosque. And next, so many cities in our country are started destroying because of time. Okay. Such cities are Ferozabad and Daulakbad which is there in North India, and Hampi in South India. Clear, children? Good. Now we are going to recap what and all we have learnt in this session. Okay. First point is, what is history? What is history? History is the recorded events of past in chronological order. Where that word comes from? Historia. That word comes from Greek language. Okay. That means the word historia means learning by inquiry. Very good. And next, what do we have learned? Classification of history. How history has been classified? First it was classified as Hindu age, Muslim age and British age. Later on it changes to Asian period, medieval period and modern period. Now we are learning about sources of medieval period of India. Okay, in that we learned two sources, primary sources and secondary sources. We learned about inscriptions and monument alone in this session, isn't it? So in inscriptions, what and all we learned? Inscriptions are the writings engraved on the solid surfaces. That is the definition for inscriptions. And then what and all the information we are getting from the inscriptions we learned, isn't it? What and all the information we are getting from the inscriptions, that we learned. And after that, monuments. Monuments are in the form of temples, mosques, palaces, tombs, minas and minarets, isn't it? We learned a few examples for each things, isn't it? Very good. Now this is the worksheet for this session. Okay, what and all we so far learnt, based on that I taken this question from your book bag only. Okay, so I am going to read the questions. You just think, can you remember or not? Okay, can you recall or not? The first question is, first Roman number is fill in the blanks. First question, dash are the writings engraved on solid surfaces such as rocks, stones, temple walls and metals. Very good. The second question is, dash was the land gifted to temples. Very good. Third question is, dash inscriptions provide details about administration in Brahmadeya village. Super. So everybody knows the answer for the first three questions, isn't it? Good. Next one is true or false. First question, Pallichandam was the land donated to Jaina institution. You have to say whether it is true or false. Good. The second question is, the high cost of copper made palm leaf and paper cheaper alternatives for recording royal orders and events in royal courts. Very good. So you know the true or false also. The third question is, find out the odd one. First one is inscriptions, travelogues, monuments and coins. You have to select which one is odd one out. Good. Fourth Roman letter is, answer the following in one or two sentences. First question, name the two different types of sources for the study of history. Name the two different types of sources. We classified sources in two types, isn't it? What are the two sources you have to write? And list out the important mosques and forts constructed during the medieval period. So I gave the list, I gave the list of mosques and also forts that you have to write. So find the answer for all these questions and write it in your note. And finally your homework, find the answers for the worksheet 1 and write home test. You have to write a home test for that worksheet. Okay. And immediately I know one question arises within your mind, that is question with answer, ma'am, isn't it? So you have to write question with answer. Okay. Whenever you are writing home test, you have to write answers with question only. Okay. Good. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are having any doubt in any point of the video, you can pause the video and rewind and again you can watch. Okay, then only you can understand. And even you are having any doubt, you can call me anytime and I will clarify your doubt. Clear, students? Thank you.